One word British people say too much is the word sorry. So even we need to find different ways to say it. I'm going to teach you loads of ways to say it today, and you're going to learn many different ways in which you can say sorry when you're in conversation with people. So let's get started. Okay, so number one is something that we say when we don't want to say sorry for keeping you waiting or sorry for taking your time. We can say thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience while I sorted out the issue. You might hear it when you call a call center or you are in a bank and they're trying to help you. People will use it in a formal setting, or they'll use it in the setting of maybe in a shop or in a service provider. So, something to be aware of and something to know. So practice it and use it when you can. And also learn how to recognize it when you hear it. Okay, just before we do number two, I'm Dan and you're watching ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com. So, number two, I appreciate your understanding. And this might be a situation where you're sorry for something that has caused confusion, or you're sorry for something that's made something difficult for someone, and they're understanding your situation. So I appreciate your understanding. Thanks for giving me a break then, really, okay? I appreciate your understanding about the rescheduling. So you've done something that's inconvenient to someone, and they're understanding, and you don't have to say sorry. You can just say, I appreciate your understanding. So appreciate. Let's have a look at this. Again, this schwa sound that we always talk about. So appreciate, appreciate. There's your stress, and this is a long sound, appreciate. You've got the sh sound there as well. Practice that word because it's a little bit difficult to get your mouth around sometimes, but once you've got it, you will have it perfect. Okay, number three, thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for bearing with me. Bear with me is to kind of wait for me while I do something difficult. And thanks for bearing with me is, instead of saying sorry, it's taking so long. Okay, so it's a nice way of saying sorry. You don't have to say sorry, as we know, but this is what we're doing today. So thanks for bearing with me while I adjust this setting. Or thanks for bearing with me while I do something that's kind of inconvenient for you. But again, it's a great way of kind of getting away with something without saying sorry, because it can have sometimes negative connotations. So it's better to use something without the word sorry in it, and it gets you off the hook, right? Okay. All right, number four, could I have a moment of your time? Could I have a moment of your time? Remember, in could, we don't say the L, we don't say could, we say could. So it's a ud sound. Could I have a moment of your time? Oh, moment. This is the schwa. Oh, that's gone completely wrong, hasn't it? Let's do it that way. See, I'm not an artist, I'm a teacher. Okay, so could I have a moment of your time to go over these details? Okay, so instead of saying, sorry, I need to do this with you, can we do this? You just say, could I have a moment of your time? It's polite, and it doesn't mean you're saying sorry, which is great. Okay, number five, would you mind helping me? Would you mind helping me? Now, this is another one that you can replace sorry with. Instead of saying, sorry, can you help me? You can say, oh, excuse me, would you help? You can put excuse me before this if you want to. You can say excuse me, and then we can go on to would you mind doing this or would you mind doing that. So you don't have to use the word sorry in this situation, but you can if you want. This is what you always need to know. You can use it if you want to. So would you mind helping me carry these boxes? And you can start with this. You don't have to say excuse me. It's a very polite phrase, and it doesn't necessarily need any introduction. So remember, everything you see on the screen today, you can get the slides and you can do the quiz by clicking on this I above. If you're on a mobile or tablet, that'll be underneath the video in the description. Okay, so you can get the slides, have a look through them, practice, test yourself, and then do the quiz and see how you did. So number six, when you have a minute, Now this is actually quite a polite way to approach somebody and ask them about something. So when you have a minute, could you review these documents? So it's a nice thing you can use in a work situation. It's not usually used with family and friends, but it can be. It depends what kind of experience and what kind of relationship you have with your family and friends. It's not completely, you can't not use it, but you could try it if you want. So practice it out, listen to it, hear for it, make sure you can hear it sometimes when you're out and about. You might hear this in your office or you might hear this somewhere else. Number 7, I take responsibility for this. Now, this, first of all, let's look at the pronunciation of responsibility. So you've got responsibility. It's a long word And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different stresses here, or 6 different syllables. So responsibility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember that we have our secondary stress here, and then the main stress here. So it's a big word to get your head around. So responsibility, responsibility. Have a practice. Try after me. Responsibility. Okay. Again, you can practice and see how you go. When you put it in a sentence, it gets a little bit more difficult. So let's try that. So I take responsibility for the oversight and I'm working to resolve it. So again, it puts you in a better light with a boss or with a colleague. Instead of saying, sorry, it's my fault, which is kind of negative, you can say, I take responsibility. It looks strong. It looks like you're doing something proactive. Use it. Okay, next one, let me correct that, or let me correct that for you, you could say as well. And again, instead of saying, sorry, I've messed up and I've done something wrong, you can just say, let me correct that. And it's showing a proactive way of doing something. So correct is this, so we have the schwa, correct, with the stress on the second part of the word. Let me correct that information for you. Or you can just say, I'll help you with that, let me correct it. You can see you can do different ways, but it's a great way of not saying sorry. It's a great way of making yourself look like you're taking responsibility. So number 9, you've made a mistake, and instead of saying, I'm sorry, I've made a mistake in the report and you had to fix it, that again doesn't sound great. So you can say, thank you for catching that. Thank you for catching that. So you're making them feel good because they found your error. Okay, you don't give them time to tell you that your error is bad. And then you can just say, yeah, for example, thank you for catching that error in the report. And that puts you, again, in a good light, and it makes the fact that you haven't said sorry a thing, which is important. And it's nice to use a different phrase. It makes your English look better, and it makes you look more confident. Okay, for number 10, this is a great way of actually not saying sorry, but making it look like you're allowing someone to say something instead of you. So again, it's really good because you can say, go ahead, I didn't mean to cut in. So you do apologize there, I didn't mean to cut in. So you're making yourself look like a humble person, but you're saying, oh, go ahead to the person that you would normally have said sorry to. So again, it looks good, it's positive, and it's confident. Okay, something very similar in this situation is please continue. Or you can say in a longer phrase, please continue with what you're saying. Because, for example, you might have interjected or cut into the conversation, and instead of saying sorry, you can just say please continue, and it's powerful, it's good, and it's interesting. So please continue. Have a look at the word continue. This is where the stress is. This is our schwa, the sound. Continue. This is a long sound as well. So please continue. Please continue with what you were saying. Number 12, excuse me, I thought you'd finished. So we don't say, I'm sorry that I've cut in, or we don't say that I'm sorry I've spoken over you. We say, excuse me, I thought you'd finished. So excuse me, I thought you'd finished your point. Meaning that maybe I spoke over you and it's not a good thing, so I'm just kind of excusing myself and carrying on. It's a good thing to have in your bag of tricks when you don't want to say sorry, but you want to say something else and you want to mean the same thing. Okay, number 13, I understand this is difficult for you. I understand how difficult this is for you. Now, this is something that we can say when we are not apologizing. So we're kind of showing empathy. We don't apologize. And again, understand, make sure you've got this word correctly. We've got the understand, this part is the main stress. And we've got this sound here. So understand. It's a word that you have to get right. So just copy me, understand. Good, good. Difficult, again, we've got this sound here. Always put that in. So I understand how difficult this is for you. Okay, so you don't have to say for you. You can just say how difficult this is for you, for him, for them. You can talk about many different people in this situation. That makes it much more complex sentence, and you can use it in many different situations. All right, that sounds challenging. Number 14, that sounds challenging. And this is actually something that you could use in a situation where instead of feeling sorry or saying you feel sorry for someone, I'm sorry about your situation, you can say, that sounds challenging. Actually, I can see why it would be difficult for you, or I can see why it would be frustrating. You see how you can do this? So you don't have to kind of give empathy and feel bad for someone by saying, oh, I'm sorry about that. you can just use this instead, and it's much more positive for everybody, really, I suppose. Okay, and the final one is kind of an extension of this. If you're kind of with somebody who needs a bit of support, you can say, look, I'm here to support you. And you don't have to say, oh, I feel sorry for you or anything. It's something positive in a bad situation, possibly. So I'm here to support you, so let me know if I can do anything or how I can help or anything like that. So let me know how I can help. And support, it's got this or, this long sound, and we've got this schwa here as well. So support. The stress is on the second part of the word. So I'm here to support you. And it's a nice way to say, I don't feel bad for you, but I'm just trying to help you. You know, it's good, it's nice. So those are your ways to say sorry. Remember, if you want to test your English, you can go to this video here and you can work with my colleague Kay, who is going to help you go through different questions, and you'll find out your level of English in very short time. So go through that with her, see how you are, and you can work out what your level is. And then you can come back to us and practice more English and so you can get better than that. All right, see you next time.